Vincent Crane stands behind the host stand at La Maison Dorée, the most celebrated restaurant in Savannah, Georgia, adjusts his silk pocket square, and says 5 words that will cost him his career, his restaurant, his reputation, and eventually his marriage. "We don't serve your kind." He says it quietly, almost politely. The way a man says something he has said so many times that it no longer registers as cruelty, but simply as policy. The way a man clears his throat or checks his watch, a reflex dressed in the language of civility. He is looking at a woman standing in the entrance of his restaurant. She is 27 years old. She is black. She is wearing a clean white blouse, tucked into dark jeans, small gold earrings, and canvas sneakers that have seen better days. Her hair is natural, pulled back with a cloth headband. She carries a canvas tote bag with a university logo that is too faded to read from this distance. She does not look like La Maison Dorée's typical clientele. She does not look like the couples in tailored blazers and cocktail dresses who fill the dining room on Friday nights, ordering $42 entrees and $17 glasses of wine. She looks like a graduate student, which is exactly what she is. Her name is Amara Okafor. She has a bachelor's degree in biology from Spelman College and a master's in public health from Emory University. She is 3 months away from completing her certification as a registered environmental health specialist through the Georgia Department of Public Health. In 104 days, she will walk back through the front door of La Maison Dorée carrying a clipboard, a digital thermometer, an ATP bioluminescence meter, and the legal authority of the Chatham County Health Department. She will not be asking for a table. She will be conducting an unannounced inspection, and what she finds in Vincent Crane's kitchen will make national news. But that is 104 days from now. Right now, Amara Okafor is standing in the entrance of a restaurant where she made a reservation 3 days ago under her own name, confirmation number 4471, for a party of 2 at 7:30 p.m. on a Friday evening in March, and she is being told that she is not welcome. Not because her reservation is missing, not because the restaurant is full, not because there is a dress code she has violated. She is being told she is not welcome because Vincent Crane looked at her and made a decision that took less than 2 seconds and was based on nothing more than the color of her skin and the assumption that a black woman in canvas sneakers does not belong in his dining room. She does not yell. She does not cry. She stands in the entrance of La Maison Dorée with her hands at her sides and her chin level and says, "I have a reservation." Vincent Crane smiles. It is the smile of a man who has perfected the art of refusal. "I'm afraid there's been a mistake with our system. We're completely booked this evening." He is not booked. Table 14, the two-top by the window overlooking Lafayette Square, has been empty for 45 minutes. The reservation under the name Okafor is in his system right now, highlighted in blue, confirmed, with a note that reads, "Birthday Dinner." It is Amara's mother's birthday. Her mother, Grace Okafor, is waiting in the car outside because Amara wanted to go in first to check on the table, to make sure everything was ready, to make this evening perfect for the woman who raised her alone, who worked double shifts as a home health aide for 14 years, who never once ate in a restaurant that required a reservation because she could never afford it, and because she always told Amara that the best meals are the ones you cook with love in your own kitchen. Tonight was supposed to be different. Tonight, Amara saved $400 over 3 months to bring her mother to the finest restaurant in Savannah, to sit at a table with cloth napkins and candlelight, and tell the woman who sacrificed everything that she mattered, that she deserved beauty and luxury, and the simple, profound dignity of being served. That will not happen tonight. Tonight, Amara will walk back to the car, sit in the passenger seat, and tell her mother that the restaurant lost their reservation. She will lie. She will protect her mother from the truth, because Grace Okafor has endured enough indignity in her life and does not need to know that her daughter was turned away from a restaurant on her birthday, because a man in a silk pocket square decided they were not the right kind of people. They will drive to a Waffle House on Abercorn Street instead. Grace will order the all-star special with scrambled eggs and hash browns scattered, smothered, and covered. She will laugh and say it is the best birthday dinner she has ever had. Amara will smile across the table and say nothing about the way her chest feels, the tightness, the heat, the specific suffocating weight of being told you do not belong in a place you earned the right to enter. She will not cry until she gets home. She will cry in the shower with the water running so her mother cannot hear. Then she will open her laptop and begin studying for her environmental health certification exam with a focus she has never felt before. a focus that burns like a pilot light in the center of her chest, steady, constant, waiting to ignite. Grace Okafor arrives in the United States from Lagos, Nigeria in 1994. She is 22 years old. She carries 2 suitcases, $1,200 in cash, folded inside a Bible, and a letter of acceptance from a nursing assistant program at Savannah Technical College. She does not know anyone in Savannah. She chose it because the program was affordable, because the cost of living was lower than Atlanta or New York, and because a woman at her church in Lagos, a woman named Sister Comfort, who had a cousin in Georgia, told her that Savannah was a beautiful city with trees that looked like they were praying. The trees are live oaks, draped in Spanish moss, and when Grace sees them for the first time from the window of a Greyhound bus, she presses her forehead against the glass and whispers a prayer of thanks. She will live in Savannah for the rest of her life. The nursing assistant program takes 9 months. Grace completes it in 7. She graduates first in her class. She takes a job as a home health aide with a company called Coastal Care Services, earning $9.25 per hour. She visits elderly patients in their homes, administers medications, helps them bathe and dress and eat, holds their hands when they are afraid, sings hymns when they cannot sleep. She works 12-hour shifts, sometimes back-to-back. She takes the bus because she cannot afford a car. She sends $150 a month to her family in Lagos. She saves $30 a week in a shoebox under her bed. In 1997, Grace gives birth to Amara. The father is a man named David who worked construction and left before Amara was 6 months old. Grace does not talk about him. She does not need to. She raises Amara alone in a 1-bedroom apartment on Waters Avenue. The apartment costs $420 a month. It has a window unit that rattles when the wind blows and a kitchen so small that only one person can stand in it at a time. Grace cooks in that kitchen every night. She makes jollof rice and fried plantains and a goosey soup with spinach. She makes the recipes her mother taught her, the recipes her mother's mother taught before that, each one carried across an ocean in memory, because memory is the only luggage that does not weigh anything. Amara grows up in that kitchen. She sits at the small table doing homework while her mother cooks, and the apartment fills with the smell of palm oil and tomatoes and the sound of Grace humming gospel songs in Yoruba. Grace tells her daughter 3 things, repeatedly, like prayers recited, until they become architecture. Education is the only thing nobody can take from you. Always be early, always be prepared, always be twice as good. You belong everywhere. Never let anyone tell you different. Amara listens. She listens the way children listen when they understand, instinctively, that their mother's words are not advice, but survival instructions, encoded wisdom passed from one generation of Black women to the next, each word polished smooth by the hands of women who learned them the hard way. Amara excels. She graduates from Savannah Arts Academy with a 4.3 GPA. She receives a full scholarship to Spelman College in Atlanta. She majors in biology. She graduates summa cum laude. She is accepted to the Rollins School of Public Health at Emory University, where she earns her master's degree in environmental health with a thesis on foodborne illness outbreaks in underserved communities. Her thesis advisor, Dr. Patricia Nguyen, calls it the most thorough student research I have reviewed in 15 years. 3 public health departments recruit her before she graduates. She accepts a position with the Chatham County Health Department in Savannah because Savannah is home, because her mother is here, because the apartment on Waters Avenue is still here, and Grace is still cooking jollof rice in a kitchen where only one person can stand at a time, and Amara wants to be close enough to eat dinner with her mother on Sunday nights. She starts the job in January. Her title is Environmental Health Specialist 1. Her responsibilities include conducting routine inspections of food service establishments, investigating foodborne illness complaints, monitoring compliance with the Georgia food service rules and regulations, and enforcing corrective actions when violations are identified. She carries a clipboard, a digital thermometer, an ATP bioluminescence meter for surface contamination testing, and a laminated copy of Chapter 290-5-14 of the Georgia Administrative Code. She also carries something that is not in her job description, something that does not fit on a clipboard or register on a thermometer. She carries the memory of standing in the entrance of La Maison Dorée on her mother's birthday, being told she does not belong, walking back to the car, lying to the woman who gave her everything, and crying in the shower with the water running. La Maison Dorée occupies a restored antebellum building on Bull Street, 3 blocks south of Chippewa Square. The building was constructed in 1853 by a cotton merchant named Elijah Crane, Vincent's great-great-grandfather, who built it as a private residence with servants' quarters in the back and a carriage house on the side. The irony of this history is not lost on anyone who knows it, though Vincent Crane does not consider it irony. He considers it legacy. The restaurant opened in 2008, the year the economy collapsed, and most new restaurants failed within 6 months. La Maison Dorée did not fail. It thrived. Vincent converted the ground floor of the family home into a 72-seat dining room with exposed brick walls, reclaimed heart pine floors, crystal chandeliers that cost $8,000 each, and a menu that combined French technique with Southern ingredients in ways that food critics described as revelatory and transcendent, and a love letter to Savannah's culinary heritage. The Savannah Morning News gave it 4 stars. Atlanta Magazine named it one of Georgia's 10 best restaurants. The James Beard Foundation nominated Vincent for Best Chef Southeast in 2016. He did not win, but the nomination alone brought a flood of reservations, national press coverage, and the specific, intoxicating validation that Vincent Crane craves more than anything else in the world, the confirmation that he is exceptional. Vincent is 53 years old. He is 6 feet tall, lean, with a full head of gray hair, swept back from his forehead, and a jawline that photographs well, which he knows because he has been photographed often. He wears custom shirts with monogrammed cuffs. He speaks with the measured cadence of a man who has rehearsed his own spontaneity. He uses words like terroir and provenance and integrity in every interview, not because they are necessary, but because they create the impression of depth. An impression is the currency of the restaurant industry. Vincent runs La Maison Dorée with absolute control. He selects every ingredient, designs every dish, approves every hire, and personally screens every reservation. This last practice, the personal screening, is the one that matters most. It is also the one that nobody talks about. The reservation system at La Maison Dorée is digital. Guests book online through a platform called Récit. The system collects names, phone numbers, email addresses, and party sizes. It does not collect photographs. It does not collect racial information. But Vincent has developed a secondary screening process that he calls, in private, curation. When a reservation comes in, Vincent reviews the name. He searches for the name on social media. He looks at the profile. He looks at the photographs. He makes a determination about whether this person fits the experience of La Maison Dorée. If they do not fit, the reservation remains in the system, but is flagged with a small red dot that only Vincent can see. When the flagged guest arrives, they are told that there has been a booking error, that the restaurant is overbooked, that their table is not available. They are offered apologies. They are offered a gift card for a future visit that will also be flagged, also denied, also explained away with the polished language of regret. In 4 years, Vincent Crane has flagged and denied 112 reservations. 103 of those reservations were made by people with identifiably black names or social media profiles showing black guests. 6 were made by people with identifiably Hispanic names. 3 were made by people whose social media profiles showed visible disabilities, wheelchair users whom Vincent determined would disrupt the flow of the dining room. The remaining reservations were denied for legitimate reasons: party sizes that exceeded capacity, requests for dates when the restaurant was genuinely booked, duplicate bookings made in error. The pattern, like all patterns of discrimination, is invisible to anyone who sees only their own experience. Each individual denial looks reasonable. Each individual excuse is plausible. It is only when you step back and see all 112 denials together, mapped by name, by date, by demographic, that the shape of the thing becomes visible, the way a satellite image reveals a pattern on the ground that no one standing on the ground can see. Nobody has stepped back. Nobody has mapped the pattern. Nobody has connected 112 polite refusals into the systematic exclusion they represent. Until Amara Okafor receives her assignment list on a Tuesday morning in July and sees the name La Maison Dorée on the schedule for a routine annual inspection. The inspection is scheduled for Thursday, July 17th. Routine inspections are unannounced. This is standard practice across every health department in every state in the country. The purpose of an unannounced inspection is to observe the actual operating conditions of a food service establishment, not the conditions the establishment prepares when it knows an inspector is coming. Amara has conducted 47 inspections since she started at the Chatham County Health Department in January. She has inspected diners, food trucks, school cafeterias, hospital kitchens, catering companies, and fast food chains. She has issued 12 corrective action notices. She has temporarily closed one establishment, a seafood shack on Tybee Island, that was storing raw oysters at 57 degrees, 17 degrees above the legal maximum. She is thorough. She is precise. She is, as her supervisor Dr. Raymond Torres describes her, the most detail-oriented inspector I have hired in 20 years. She does not cut corners. She does not accept excuses. She does not adjust her standards based on the reputation of the establishment or the charm of the owner. She measures, she tests, she documents, she reports. When she sees La Maison Dorée on her schedule, she feels something she has not felt during any of the previous 47 inspections. She feels the tightness in her chest, the heat, the memory of standing in that entrance, being smiled at and dismissed, walking to the car, lying to her mother. She sits at her desk in the health department office on Eisenhower Drive and stares at the name on her schedule for a long time. She thinks about recusing herself. She thinks about asking Dr. Torres to reassign the inspection to another specialist. She thinks about the code of ethics she signed when she accepted her position, the requirement for impartiality, the prohibition against personal bias influencing professional judgment. She picks up her phone. She calls Dr. Torres. "Raymond, I need to tell you something about the La Maison Dorée inspection." "What is it?" "I've been there before, as a customer. I had a negative experience. I want you to know that before I conduct the inspection." "What kind of negative experience?" Amara pauses. She considers her words carefully. "I was denied service. I believe it was discriminatory." Silence on the line. Dr. Torres is 61 years old, a career public health official who has worked for 3 county health departments across Georgia over 32 years. He is Mexican-American. He understands discrimination the way anyone who has lived it understands it, not as an abstract concept, but as a specific, recurring experience with a specific texture and temperature and weight. "Do you want me to reassign it?" he asks. "No," Amara says. "I want to conduct the inspection, but I want it documented that I disclosed the prior interaction. I want everything above board. I want my inspection to be bulletproof." "Then make it bulletproof," Dr. Torres says. "Inspect it the same way you inspect everything else. By the book, every measurement documented, every violation photographed, every finding cross-referenced with the code. If that restaurant is clean, you write that it's clean. If it's not, you write what you find. Your personal experience doesn't change the temperature of their walk-in cooler." "I know. I know you know. That's why I'm not reassigning it." Amara hangs up. She opens Chapter 290-5-14 of the Georgia Administrative Code on her computer. She reads through the food service regulations for the 3rd time this week. She reviews her inspection checklist. She calibrates her digital thermometer. She charges her ATP meter. She prints 2 copies of the inspection form, one for her records and one for the establishment. She places everything in her inspection bag, a black nylon backpack with the Chatham County Health Department logo on the front pocket. Then she drives home to the apartment on Waters Avenue, the same apartment where she grew up, the same kitchen where Grace cooked jollof rice while Amara did homework. Grace moved to a slightly larger apartment on Victory Drive 2 years ago, but Amara kept the Waters Avenue place. The rent is still $420 a month. The window unit still rattles. The kitchen is still only big enough for one person. Amara stands in that kitchen and makes a cup of tea. She holds the cup in both hands and thinks about Thursday. She thinks about walking through the front door of La Maison Dorée for the 2nd time. She thinks about the host stand where Vincent Crane stood and told her she did not belong. She thinks about what her mother said, the 3 things, repeated like prayers. Education is the only thing nobody can take from you. Always be early. Always be prepared. Always be twice as good. You belong everywhere. Never let anyone tell you different. She finishes her tea. She washes the cup. She sets it upside down on the drying rack. She goes to bed. She does not cry tonight. She does not need to. The pilot light in her chest is steady, constant, and ready. Thursday, July 17th. Amara Okafor arrives at La Maison Dorée at 11:14 a.m., 46 minutes before the restaurant opens for lunch service. She parks her car, a 2019 Honda Civic with 137,000 miles on the odometer, in the small lot behind the building. She gets out. She puts on her official Chatham County Health Department lanyard with her photo ID and title visible. She picks up her inspection bag. She walks around the building to the front entrance on Bull Street. The door is unlocked. The restaurant is in prep mode. Staff move through the dining room, setting tables, polishing glasses, folding napkins into precise fans. The crystal chandeliers are dimmed. The reclaimed heart pine floors gleam in the morning light that comes through the floor-to-ceiling windows facing Lafayette Square. The smell of butter and shallots drifts from the kitchen. Amara steps inside. A young woman in a white button-down shirt and black apron approaches her. Her name tag reads Megan. She is a hostess. She is 22 years old, probably a SCAD student, probably working here for the tips and the prestige of saying she works at La Maison Dorée. "I'm sorry, we don't open until noon," Megan says, smiling politely. Amara holds up her lanyard. "Chatham County Health Department. I'm here for a routine inspection." Megan's smile freezes. It does not disappear. It simply stops being a smile and becomes a shape that her mouth makes while her brain processes the information. "Oh, okay, let me get the manager." "I need to speak with the person in charge of the kitchen," Amara says. "That's the owner, Mr. Crane. He's in the back." "Please let him know I'm here. I'll begin in the dining room." Megan nods and hurries toward the kitchen. Amara does not wait. She does not need permission to begin. Her authority comes from the Chatham County Board of Health, empowered by the Georgia Department of Public Health under OCGA. Section 26-2-373, which grants environmental health specialists the right to enter and inspect any food service establishment during operating hours or during any time food is being prepared, stored, or served. The law does not require the owner's permission. The law does not require advance notice. The law requires only that the inspector identify herself and present her credentials, which Amara has done. She begins in the dining room. She checks the temperature of the beverage station. She inspects the hand-washing sink near the service corridor. She examines the cleanliness of the menus, the condition of the table surfaces, the storage of clean utensils. She makes notes on her clipboard. Everything in the dining room is clean. Immaculate, in fact. The front of house at La Maison Dorée is maintained to a standard that reflects the prices on the menu. This does not surprise Amara. In her experience, the front of house is almost always clean. The front of house is the performance. The kitchen is the truth. She hears footsteps behind her. She does not turn around. "Excuse me." The voice is familiar. It is the voice that said, "We don't serve your kind." It is the voice that said, "There's been a mistake with our system." It is the voice of Vincent Crane. She turns. Vincent Crane is standing 6 feet away from her. He is wearing a chef's coat with his name embroidered on the left breast. His gray hair is swept back. His jaw is set. His eyes are moving from her face to her lanyard, to her clipboard, to the inspection bag on the floor, and back to her face, performing the same rapid calculation he performed 5 months ago when she stood in this exact spot. But this time, the calculation yields a different result. 5 months ago, he calculated that she did not belong. Today, looking at the lanyard and the clipboard, and the letters on the ID that spell Chatham County Health Department, he calculates that she absolutely does. He does not recognize her. She is certain of this. His eyes show no flicker of memory, no connection between the woman standing before him now and the woman he turned away in March. She was, to him, invisible then, a non-person, a shape he dismissed from his doorway and forgot before she reached the parking lot. She is visible now. She is visible because she is holding a clipboard that has the power to shut down his restaurant. "Mr. Crane," she says, "I'm Amara Okafor, Environmental Health Specialist with Chatham County. I'm here to conduct your annual food service inspection." She extends her hand. Vincent shakes it. His grip is firm. His palm is dry. His smile is the smile he gives food critics and journalists and anyone else who holds power over his reputation. "Of course," he says, "welcome to La Maison Dorée. We're happy to cooperate fully. Let me give you a tour of the kitchen." "That won't be necessary," Amara says. I'll conduct the inspection independently. I'll need access to all food preparation areas, all storage areas, including walk-in coolers and dry storage, all dishwashing stations, and your food safety logs for the past 90 days. Vincent's smile tightens by a fraction of a millimeter. Independent is not the word he wanted to hear. He wanted to guide her through the kitchen the way he guides food critics, showing her the polished copper pots and the imported marble countertops and the herb garden on the back patio, while steering her away from the places he does not want her to see. Amara has done this 47 times. She knows the choreography. She knows the rehearsed tour, the strategic misdirection, the friendly conversation designed to make the inspector feel welcome and comfortable and cooperative and, ultimately, less thorough. She does not accept tours. She does not accept coffee. She does not accept the implicit social contract that says the inspector and the inspected are on the same team. They are not on the same team. She is the public's representative. Her job is to protect the people who eat in this restaurant from the things the restaurant does not want them to see. I'll start with the walk-in cooler, she says. Vincent leads her to the kitchen. The kitchen at La Maison Dorée is large, approximately 900 square feet, with a layout designed for high-volume service. There is a hot line with a 6-burner range, a flat-top grill, 2 convection ovens, and a salamander. There is a cold station for salads and desserts. There is a prep area with stainless steel work tables. There is a dishwashing station with a commercial Hobart machine. There is a walk-in cooler, a walk-in freezer, and a dry storage room. Amara begins with the walk-in cooler. She opens the heavy door and steps inside. The first thing she notices is the temperature. Her digital thermometer reads 44 degrees Fahrenheit. The legal maximum for a walk-in cooler under Georgia food safety regulations is 41 degrees, 3 degrees over. She documents the reading. She photographs the thermometer display next to the cooler's internal temperature gauge, which reads 39 degrees. A 5-degree discrepancy that indicates the cooler's built-in thermometer has not been calibrated. She documents this as well. She begins examining the contents of the cooler. The shelving is stainless steel, which is correct. The organization is logical, with proteins on the lower shelves and produce on the upper shelves, which is correct. But on the third shelf from the bottom, she finds a hotel pan of raw chicken thighs stored directly above a container of prepared coleslaw. Cross-contamination risk, critical violation. She photographs the shelf from 3 angles. She notes the position of each container, the labels, the dates. The chicken thighs are dated 2 days ago. The coleslaw has no date label at all. She documents this. She moves to the back of the cooler. Behind a stack of produce boxes, she finds a 5-gallon bucket of what appears to be house-made stock. The bucket has no label, no date, no cover. It is sitting directly on the floor of the cooler, which is a violation because food must be stored at least 6 inches off the floor to prevent contamination. She photographs the bucket. She measures the temperature of the stock with her thermometer probe. It reads 48 degrees, 7 degrees above the legal maximum. She documents everything. She exits the cooler. Vincent is waiting outside, leaning against the prep table with his arms crossed, the posture of a man who is performing relaxation while feeling anything but relaxed. "Everything look good?" he asks. "I'll share my findings at the end of the inspection," Amara says. She does not tell him what she has found. She does not warn him. She does not give him the opportunity to correct violations before she finishes documenting them. This is standard procedure. This is by the book. She moves to the dry storage room. She opens the door and immediately notices 2 things. First, there is a gap at the base of the exterior wall, approximately 1 inch wide, where the baseboard has separated from the floor. This is a pest entry point. She crouches down and shines her flashlight along the base of the wall. She finds what she expects to find: mouse droppings, small, dark, concentrated near the gap. She counts 11 pellets in a 2-foot span. She photographs them. She photographs the gap. She checks the corners of the room. She finds more droppings behind a rack of canned goods. She finds a gnawed corner on a 50-pound bag of flour. She finds a sticky trap in the corner with 2 dead cockroaches on it, a trap that has clearly not been checked or replaced in weeks because the adhesive has turned brown and the cockroaches are desiccated. She photographs all of it. Critical violations, multiple. She moves to the dishwashing station. She tests the sanitizer concentration in the rinse cycle. The test strip reads 100 parts per million of quaternary ammonium. The legal minimum is 200 parts per million. The sanitizer is running at half the required concentration, which means that every plate, every glass, every fork that has come out of this dishwasher has not been properly sanitized. She tests it twice to confirm. Same reading, she documents it. She moves to the food safety logs. She asks the sous chef, a young man named Derek, to produce the temperature logs for the past 90 days. Derek opens a binder on a shelf near the expediting station. He hands it to Amara. She opens it. The first 30 days of logs are filled in with what appears to be the same handwriting and the same pen. The temperatures recorded are identical for every day. Walk-in cooler, 39 degrees. Walk-in freezer, 0 degrees. Hot holding, 145 degrees. Every single day. Identical numbers. For 30 consecutive days. These logs have been fabricated. Nobody records identical temperatures for 30 days. Temperature fluctuates. That is the nature of temperature. Identical readings across 30 days is not precision, it is fiction. She photographs each page of the fabricated logs. She notes the date range. She continues through the binder. After the first 30 days, the logs become sporadic. Some days are filled in, others are blank. The last 2 weeks have no entries at all. She documents the gaps. She has been in the kitchen for 1 hour and 47 minutes. She has documented 14 violations. 6 are critical violations, the kind that pose an immediate risk to public health. The walk-in cooler temperature, the cross-contamination of raw chicken over prepared food, the undated food, the floor-stored stock, the pest evidence in dry storage, the inadequate sanitizer concentration. Any one of these, by itself, would result in a corrective action notice. Together, they constitute a pattern of systemic food safety failure that requires immediate intervention. Amara has one more area to inspect. She walks to the back of the kitchen, past the prep tables, past the dishwashing station, to a door marked "Staff Only." She opens it. The room behind the door is approximately 8 feet by 10 feet. It is used, based on its contents, as a combined office and break room. There is a desk with a computer and stacked papers. There is a small refrigerator. There is a microwave on a shelf. And there is, against the far wall, a cot. A folding cot with a pillow and a blanket. Amara looks at the cot. She looks at the proximity of the cot to the kitchen. She opens the small refrigerator. Inside, she finds employee lunches, personal beverages, and on the bottom shelf, 2 hotel pans of prepared food from the restaurant kitchen, labeled with the La Maison Dorée logo. Restaurant food stored in a non-commercial refrigerator in a room that is not part of the licensed food service area. Another violation. She closes the refrigerator, she photographs the room, she photographs the cot, she photographs the food in the personal refrigerator. She exits the room and returns to the kitchen. Vincent Crane is standing at the expediting station when Amara approaches him. He has been waiting for the past hour. His arms are still crossed. His jaw is still set. But there is something different about his posture now, a rigidity that was not there before. The posture of a man who can feel the ground shifting, but does not yet know how far it will fall. Mr. Crane, I've completed my inspection. And I've documented 14 violations, 6 of which are critical. I'm going to go through each one with you. She opens her clipboard. She begins at the top. She reads each violation clearly, precisely, without emotion. She cites the specific section of the Georgia Administrative Code that each violation contravenes. She shows him the photographs on her tablet. She shows him the temperature readings. She shows him the fabricated logs. Vincent's face changes with each violation. The first 2, he nods, dismissive, the nod of a man who considers minor infractions beneath his attention. By the 4th violation, the cross-contamination, his nod stops. By the 6th, the pest evidence, his arms uncross. By the 8th, the fabricated temperature logs, his face has gone pale. Those logs were filled in by a prep cook who is no longer employed here, he says. That's not my... The responsibility for food safety compliance rests with the permit holder, Amara says. That's you, Mr. Crane, under OCGA 26-2-373. The permit holder is personally responsible for ensuring that all food safety records are accurate and maintained. Vincent stares at her. Something is happening behind his eyes, a recognition that has nothing to do with food safety and everything to do with the woman standing in front of him. He is looking at her face. He is looking at her hair, the natural curls pulled back with a cloth headband, the same headband she wore 5 months ago. He is looking at her canvas sneakers. Different ones, but the same style, the same unassuming footwear that he used as evidence of her unworthiness to enter his dining room. "Have we met before?" he asks. The question hangs in the air like smoke. Amara does not hesitate. She does not pause. She does not give him the satisfaction of a dramatic revelation. "I don't believe so," she says. "It is not a lie. They did not meet. You do not meet someone who refuses to see you. A meeting requires mutual acknowledgement, mutual humanity, mutual recognition that both parties exist. Vincent Crane did not acknowledge her humanity 5 months ago. He did not see her. He saw her skin, her shoes, her hair, and he decided those things disqualified her from occupying a chair in his dining room. That is not a meeting. That is an erasure. Based on the number and severity of the violations, Amara continues, I am issuing a corrective action notice with a mandatory follow-up inspection within 10 business days. If the critical violations are not resolved by the follow-up inspection, I will recommend suspension of your food service permit pending full remediation. Vincent's mouth opens. You can't be serious. This is La Maison Dorée. We've been operating for 16 years. We have a James Beard nomination. The James Beard Foundation does not issue food service permits, Mr. Crane. The Chatham County Health Department does, and the conditions I observed today are not consistent with a safe food service operation. She tears the inspection report from her clipboard. The carbon copy underneath is hers. The original is his. She places it on the expediting station. You have 10 business days. The violations and required corrective actions are listed on the report. I'd suggest starting with the cooler temperature and the pest remediation. Those are the most critical. She picks up her inspection bag. She walks toward the kitchen door. Vincent follows her. Wait, can we discuss this? Can I appeal? The appeal process is outlined on the back of the report. You can file a written appeal with the Chatham County Board of Health within 5 business days. This will be public record? Yes, all food service inspection reports are public record and are posted on the Chatham County Health Department website. Vincent's face is now the color of the flour in his dry storage room. White, flat. The face of a man who is calculating rapidly, desperately, the damage that a public record of 14 violations and 6 critical failures will do to the reputation he has spent 16 years constructing. This is disproportionate, he says. Other restaurants have violations. You don't see them being threatened with permit suspension. Mr. Crane, I apply the same standards to every establishment I inspect. A food truck on River Street gets the same inspection as a fine dining restaurant on Bull Street. The bacteria that cause foodborne illness do not care about your Yelp rating. She walks through the kitchen. She walks through the dining room, past the crystal chandeliers and the polished floors and the tables set with cloth napkins, folded into precise fans. She walks past the host stand where Vincent Crane told her she did not belong. She pushes through the front door and steps onto Bull Street. The July air is thick, Savannah thick, the kind of heat that wraps around you like a second skin. She stands on the sidewalk for a moment. The live oaks in Lafayette Square are draped in Spanish moss, the trees that look like they are praying. She takes a breath. She walks to her car. She sits in the driver's seat. She places her clipboard on the passenger seat. She places her inspection bag in the back. She grips the steering wheel with both hands and breathes. She does not cry. She does not need to. She did her job. She did it by the book. She did it with the precision and impartiality that Dr. Torres expects and that the public deserves. She did not adjust her standards because the restaurant was famous. She did not soften her findings because the owner was powerful. She did not reveal her personal history because it was irrelevant to the temperature of the walk-in cooler and the mouse droppings in the dry storage and the fabricated logs in the binder. She measured, she tested, she documented, she reported. The pilot light in her chest is still burning, but it is calmer now, steadier, the flame of a woman who has discovered that the most powerful form of justice is not revenge, it is competence. The inspection report goes live on the Chatham County Health Department website at 4 p.m. on Friday, July 18th. By Saturday morning, a local food blogger named Carla Jeffries has downloaded the report and posted it on her Instagram account with the caption, La Maison Dorée just received 14 violations, including 6 critical, raw chicken stored over prepared food, mouse droppings in dry storage, fabricated temperature logs. The fanciest restaurant in Savannah is serving you dinner next to rat droppings. Bon appetit. The post receives 22,000 likes in 12 hours. By Sunday, it has been picked up by the Savannah Morning News, which publishes an article titled, "Celebrated Savannah Restaurant Faces Critical Health Violations." The article quotes the inspection report extensively. It includes photographs of the violations provided through a public records request. It notes that La Maison Dorée has been given 10 business days to resolve the issues or face permit suspension. Vincent Crane issues a statement through a public relations firm. The statement says, "La Maison Dorée takes food safety extremely seriously. The issues identified during the recent inspection have been addressed immediately. We have retained a third-party food safety consultant to conduct a comprehensive review of our operations. The health and safety of our guests has always been and will always be our top priority." The statement does not address the fabricated temperature logs. It does not address the mouse droppings. It does not address the fact that the walk-in cooler was running 3 degrees above the legal limit, meaning that every piece of protein stored in that cooler for an unknown period of time was at risk of bacterial growth. The internet does not accept the statement. The internet has learned, through years of corporate scandals and institutional failures, to read between the lines of carefully worded press releases. The comments section of the Savannah Morning News article fills with hundreds of responses. Former employees begin posting. A line cook named Marcus, who worked at La Maison Dorée for 11 months, posts that he was fired for reporting the pest problem to Vincent 3 months before the inspection. A hostess named Jasmine posts that she was instructed by Vincent to deny walk-in reservations to guests who didn't fit the aesthetic of the restaurant. She does not use the word black. She does not need to. Everyone reading understands what "didn't fit the aesthetic" means. A former server named Tom posts that he witnessed Vincent personally screening reservations based on social media profiles and denying tables to people of color on at least a dozen occasions during his 2-year tenure. He says he quit because he could not continue participating in what he calls curated racism disguised as hospitality. The posts go viral. The hashtag Golden House of Lies begins trending in Savannah, a play on the restaurant's name, La Maison Dorée, the Golden House in French. A second hashtag emerges, Inspect His Reservations. By Monday, the story has been picked up by CNN, NBC News, and the New York Times. The Times publishes a piece titled, "A Savannah Restaurant's Health Violations Expose a Deeper Pattern of Exclusion." The article includes interviews with 3 former guests who were denied reservations at La Maison Dorée despite having confirmed bookings. All 3 are black. All 3 describe the same experience. The arrival, the smile, the explanation that the restaurant is overbooked, the offer of a gift card, the polite dismissal. One of the 3 is Amara Okafor's mother. Grace Okafor did not seek out the reporter. The reporter found her through social media posts that connected Amara's inspection to the broader pattern of discrimination. Grace speaks to the reporter by phone. She tells the reporter about her birthday dinner. She tells the reporter that her daughter drove her to a Waffle House instead. She tells the reporter that Amara never told her what really happened, that she only learned the truth from reading the news coverage. "My daughter protected me," Grace says. "She lied to me so I wouldn't hurt. That's what she does. She protects people. That's why she became an inspector, not to punish anyone, to protect everyone." The quote appears in the 3rd paragraph of the Times article. It is shared 400,000 times. The follow-up inspection takes place on July 31st, 10 business days after the original. Amara does not conduct it. Dr. Torres assigns the follow-up to another specialist, a man named Kevin Brandt, specifically to prevent any appearance of personal bias. This is Amara's request. She asked for recusal after the media coverage connected her personal experience at the restaurant to her professional inspection. She does not want the integrity of her findings questioned. She does not want Vincent Crane's attorneys to argue that the inspection was motivated by personal animus. She wants the findings to stand on their own, which they do, because every measurement was accurate, every photograph was clear, every violation was documented with the clinical precision of a scientist who understands that evidence must speak louder than emotion. Kevin Brandt conducts the follow-up. He finds that 8 of the 14 violations have been corrected. The walk-in cooler temperature is now 38 degrees. The cross-contamination issue has been resolved with new shelving procedures. The sanitizer concentration has been adjusted. The pest entry gap has been sealed, and a professional exterminator has been retained. But 6 violations remain partially or fully unresolved. The temperature logs are still incomplete. The dry storage room still shows evidence of pest activity, despite the remediation. And the food stored in the non-commercial refrigerator in the staff break room has been replaced by different food stored in the same non-commercial refrigerator, suggesting that the underlying practice has not changed. Kevin issues a second corrective action notice with a 5-day deadline. He notes in his report that the establishment has made significant but incomplete progress, and that continued non-compliance with critical violations will result in permit suspension. The permit suspension comes on August 8th. La Maison Dorée is officially closed by the Chatham County Health Department, pending full remediation and a passing reinspection. The closure notice is posted on the front door of the restaurant, on the same door that Amara Okafor walked through on her mother's birthday, the same door where she was told she did not belong. The closure makes national news again. The Savannah Morning News runs a photograph of the orange closure notice taped to the elegant front door of La Maison Dorée. The contrast is devastating. The hand-lettered gold signage above, the bureaucratic orange notice below, the beautiful and the true side by side. Vincent Crane files an appeal with the Chatham County Board of Health. The appeal hearing is scheduled for August 15th. His attorney, a man named Richard Phelps, argues that the closure is excessive and punitive, and that the violations have been substantially addressed. The board reviews the inspection reports, both Amara's original and Kevin's follow-up. They review the photographs. They review the temperature logs, including the 30 days of fabricated entries. They review the former employee statements that have been submitted as public comment. The board votes 5-2 to uphold the closure. The restaurant may reopen only after a full remediation is completed and verified by 2 independent inspections conducted by 2 different specialists. The re-inspections occur on August 22nd and August 29th. Both inspectors find the restaurant in full compliance. The permit is reinstated on September 1st. La Maison Dorée reopens on September 3rd. But the restaurant that reopens is not the restaurant that closed. Something has changed. The reservations are down by 41%. The Friday night dining room, once packed with a 3-week wait, has empty tables. The James Beard Foundation quietly removes La Maison Dorée from consideration for future awards. 3 of the restaurant's most prominent investors request meetings to discuss the future direction of the establishment, a phrase that means they are considering pulling their money. The Yelp page, once filled with 5-star reviews praising the food and ambiance, is now flooded with 1-star reviews referencing the health violations, the discrimination allegations, and the fabricated safety logs. The Google reviews tell the same story. The internet has rendered its verdict, and the verdict is permanent. Vincent Crane resigns from La Maison Dorée on October 12th. He does not sell the restaurant. He transfers ownership to his sous chef, Derek, the young man who handed Amara the binder of fabricated logs, the young man who knew the logs were fake and said nothing, because he needed the job, because Vincent was his mentor, because the system protects the people at the top and punishes the people at the bottom for speaking up. Derek renames the restaurant. He calls it Cornerstone. He keeps the same building, the same kitchen, the same dining room, with the crystal chandeliers and the heart pine floors. But he changes the reservation system. No more personal screening, no more red dots, no more curation. He hires a diversity consultant. He opens the reservation book to everyone. He posts the health inspection scores on a board near the entrance, visible to every guest who walks through the door. He does this not because he is required to, but because he believes that transparency is the foundation of trust, and trust is the foundation of hospitality. Cornerstone opens on November 1st. Opening night, every table is full. The dining room looks different, not dramatically different, not performatively different, just different. The faces are more varied. The conversations are in more languages. The community is wider. A couple at table 14, the 2 top by the window overlooking Lafayette Square, is celebrating a birthday. They are a black mother and daughter. The mother is wearing her best dress, a floral print she bought at TJ Maxx for the occasion. The daughter is wearing a clean white blouse, tucked into dark jeans, small gold earrings, and canvas sneakers. She carries a canvas tote bag with a faded university logo. They did not request this specific table. The hostess seated them here because it was the next available table, which is how it should work, which is how it should have always worked. The waiter brings menus. He tells them about the specials. He pours water into crystal glasses. He treats them the way he treats every guest, with attention and respect and the simple, profound dignity of being served. Grace Okafor opens her menu. She looks at the prices. Her eyes widen slightly. Amara, this is too expensive. Mama, I've been saving. You don't have to do this. I know I don't have to. I want to. Grace looks at her daughter across the table. She looks at the cloth napkins and the candlelight and the crystal glasses and the window overlooking the square where the live oaks are draped in Spanish moss, the trees that look like they are praying. She looks at her daughter, who protected her from the truth, who cried in the shower so her mother wouldn't hear, who studied for a certification exam with a burning focus, and walked into a restaurant that had rejected her and did her job with the kind of precision that cannot be questioned, cannot be dismissed, cannot be erased. Your father would be proud of you, Grace says. She has not mentioned Amara's father in years. She says it simply, quietly, the way you say something that has been true for a long time and has been waiting for the right moment to be spoken. Amara reaches across the table and takes her mother's hand. You taught me everything, she says. Not everything, Grace says. Your grandmother taught me, and her mother taught her. We just pass it along and hope it sticks. It sticks. The waiter returns. Grace orders the shrimp and grits, a dish that costs $34 and is worth every penny because it is not just food. It is a seat at a table that was denied. It is a door that was closed and then opened. It is the sound of a mother laughing in a restaurant where she belongs, where she has always belonged, where a man in a silk pocket square once decided she did not. Vincent Crane moves to Charleston. He tells people he is consulting. His LinkedIn profile lists his title as Hospitality Advisor. He has no clients. He does not return to the restaurant industry. He does not apologize. He does not acknowledge the 112 reservations he denied, the 103 black families he turned away, the system of exclusion he built over 16 years and disguised as taste. He does not mention Amara Okafor by name. He does not know, even now, that the woman who inspected his kitchen was the same woman he refused to serve on her mother's birthday. He will never know. And in a way, that is the point. Amara did not inspect La Maison Dorée to punish Vincent Crane. She did not inspect it to prove a point or settle a score or exercise some dramatic, cinematic revenge. She inspected it because it was on her schedule, because it was her job, because she is an environmental health specialist with the Chatham County Health Department, and her job is to protect people, all people, every person who sits down at a table and trusts that the food in front of them is safe. She protected the people who ate at La Maison Dorée. She protected the white couples in tailored blazers who Vincent welcomed with open arms. She protected them from the mouse droppings and the improperly stored chicken and the fabricated safety logs and the half-strength sanitizer. She protected the people who were allowed in from the dangers they couldn't see. And she did it with the same precision, the same impartiality, the same unflinching professionalism that she brings to every inspection, whether it's a food truck on River Street or a fine dining restaurant on Bull Street. The bacteria do not care about your Yelp rating, and neither does Amara Okafor. Have you ever been told you don't belong somewhere you earned the right to enter? Have you ever stood in a doorway and felt the temperature change? Not the real temperature, but the human temperature, the warmth leaving the room, because someone decided, before you opened your mouth, that you were not welcome. Have you ever lied to someone you love to protect them from a truth that would break their heart? Think about that. Think about the 103 families who were turned away from La Maison Dorée. Think about the birthday dinners that never happened, the anniversary celebrations that were rerouted to other restaurants, lesser restaurants, restaurants that would take them. Think about the children who watched their parents be told, politely, with a smile, that they were not the right kind of people for the right kind of place. Think about what that teaches a child about where they belong in the world. This is not just Amara's story. This is a story about who gets to eat where, about who gets to be served, about the difference between a menu and a barrier, and how that difference is measured not in prices but in the color of the hand that reaches for the door. Amara Okafor did not tear down La Maison Dorée. She did not storm in seeking revenge. She walked through the front door carrying a clipboard and a thermometer, and the authority of a government agency, and the training of 2 universities, and the memory of a mother who taught her 3 things that she has never forgotten. Education is the only thing nobody can take from you. Always be early. Always be prepared. Always be twice as good. You belong everywhere. Never let anyone tell you different. She belonged in that restaurant. She belonged there the first time, when she came with a reservation and a birthday and a mother waiting in the car. And she belonged there the second time, when she came with a clipboard and found the truth hiding behind the crystal chandeliers. Share this story. Not because the restaurant was closed, not because Vincent Crane lost his career. Share it because Grace Okafor finally ate at a table by the window overlooking the square, and she laughed, and she ordered the shrimp and grits. And for one evening, she was treated the way she should have been treated all along, with the simple, unremarkable, ordinary dignity that should never have been extraordinary at all. Subscribe to this channel. Hit the notification bell. Because these stories need someone to tell them, and someone to hear them, and someone to remember them long after the hashtags fade and the news cycle moves on. And the next time you walk into a restaurant and are greeted with a smile and seated without hesitation, think about the people who walked into that same restaurant and were not. Think about what it cost them, and think about what it says about us.